All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're taking a look at this incredible blueprint for the future of education coming out of Richland School District 2. And it all starts by asking one of the most important questions we can possibly ask right now.
I mean, really think about that for a second. How in the world do you get kids ready for jobs, for technologies, for global challenges that don't even exist yet? That right there is the fundamental puzzle that modern education is trying to piece together. And it requires a totally new way of thinking.
And this right here, this is the exact mindset you need to tackle a question that big. This quote is a core value of the R2 Innovates program. And it's not about being negative, not at all. It's about being relentlessly curious. Always asking, hey, is there a better way to do this? Okay, so let's dive into that. Before we can really get a handle on the solution they came up with, we first have to understand the mission, the why that's driving this whole thing. See, it all boils down to this. The push to innovate isn't just for the sake of being flashy or new. It's deeply rooted in the district's fundamental promise to every single student, to get them ready for a future that's changing faster than ever. So you've got this big, important mission as your foundation. But how do you actually make it happen? Well, that brings us to the district's answer, a program they call R2 Innovates. You know, what I love about this is the language they use. They don't just have ideas, they surface them. It implies this active, almost archaeological dig for new ways of thinking that can really push the boundaries of what a normal school day looks like. And their vision builds right on top of that. Check out the key phrases here: creative community and human-centered design. This isn't about a few people in a central office dreaming up plans. Nope. It's about empowering everyone, teachers, students, staff, to build solutions together. And they do it using a very specific and powerful method. So what in the world is human-centered design? Well, at its core, it's pretty simple. It's about solving problems by starting with people. You first have to empathize to truly understand their needs. Then you define the real problem you're trying to solve. Only then do you start to ideate solutions, build a quick prototype, and test it out to see what works. It's a game changer. Okay, so we've got the mission and we've got the method. But how do you organize the whole shebang? Let's get into the actual blueprint they use to turn these big ideas into real action. Now, this is just brilliant. You know, the word innovation can feel huge, right? Kind of vague. So to make it concrete, they sort every effort into 3 distinct levels. This framework helps everyone know exactly what kind of change they're aiming for. Let's start at the first level. First up is optimize. This is all about making the things you already do better. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about making that wheel spin a whole lot smoother and more efficiently. Then you take it up a notch to enhance. Here, you're not just tweaking things. You're actually adding something new to an existing program to make it better. You're giving it new features, new capabilities. And finally, we get to transform. This is the big one. This is the moonshot thinking. This is where you completely disrupt the old way of doing things to create something totally new, something that provides a kind of value that wasn't there before. And look, this isn't just a bunch of nice ideas on a chart. The street process, that's the playbook. It's the actual roadmap that takes an idea from a simple, hey, how might we question, all the way to a real district-wide program. It's a clear path from A to B. A framework is great, but what does it actually look like when the rubber meets the road inside a school? All right, let's move on from the plan and see this thing in practice with some pretty incredible real-world examples. First up, let's look at optimize out in the wild. So take this career day. It was already a thing, but it just wasn't hitting the mark. The R2 Innovates team worked with the school's career specialist to redesign the whole process. The result? A career day that was way more efficient, easier to navigate, and most importantly, way more engaging for the students. A classic optimization. All right, next up, let's see an example of enhance. This sustainability project didn't just make the garden club run better, it enhanced it. They totally refurbished the gardens and built brand new systems to get not just students, but the whole community involved. They added a whole new layer of value.
And now for a project that is truly, truly transformative. This one's a showstopper.
You've got to see this. A regular, standard Chemistry 2 class was completely transformed into Bengal biodiesel.
It's now a student-run, industry-grade lab. These kids are creating actual biodiesel that fuels the district school buses. I mean, come on. This didn't just improve a class, it completely redefined what a high school science class could even be.
I mean, how cool are those examples? So with that kind of incredible momentum, where does Richland 2 go from here? Let's take a peek at their concrete goals for the future. By 2026, their goals are super clear. First, they want to lead 800 students directly through these design processes themselves. So they're not just innovating for students, they're creating the next generation of innovators.
And get this, they are leaning hard into the future. They're going to get 1,200 people, that's teachers, staff, and students, skilled up on how to build and use AI tools. They're preparing for the world of tomorrow today. And finally, they're launching 6 special teams, kind of like startups inside the school district. These incubator and accelerator teams will get focused, deep support to tackle real district-wide challenges. It's how they'll help those big, transformative ideas really take flight.
So, this all brings us to one final big thought. We've just walked through this incredibly detailed blueprint for building a true culture of innovation, and it just makes you wonder, if every school district in every community had a plan this clear, this intentional, and this ambitious, what could the future of learning really look like for every single kid out there?